What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit a million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
Denim is in demand at Plato's Closet in West Ashley and North Charleston. Get cash on the spot for everything denim. Bring in your trendy and classic styles of gently used name brand denim. Get paid for your denim shorts, skirts, jackets, jeans, and more. We're looking for denim that is blue, black, or a bold color, and jeans in styles like mom jeans, bootcut, baggy, flared, and ripped. We want everything denim. Sell your denim for cash at Plato's Closet today. Plato's Closet, located in West Ashley on Sam Rittenberg Boulevard and North Charleston on Rivers Avenue.
No music, no intro. Hashtag another episode of Saints Twitter podcast. Back again. It's just Ryan and I this time. No special guests, which is fine. Because I feel like there's a lot for us to talk about where we don't need anyone else on the pod. Football's coming, man. Like, I feel like this is kind of Game of Thrones where they keep saying winter is coming and like you don't feel like it's coming, but
no, it's coming, mother. It's coming.
Yeah, because they tweeted out like the first game, Chiefs and Texans, is a month away, which I think like insane.
Like it's here, man.
I guess we'll see how it's gonna go. But there's been a plethora of, as training camps convened or whatever that looks like, there's been a plethora of interviews that various Saints players have done. So we're just going to hit on that, hit on the health of some players, just kind of touch base on what they've talked about in their interviews, our opinions on that, and just the outlook of training camp starting next week. Like it's here. So I think Ryan's been a little more in tune with when I say a little more in tune of kind of just the Saints comings and goings. Just been work-wise for me, it's just been insane. So like the Saints have been like the last thing in my mind recently. But where did you want to start? Like what interview stood out to you that you wanted to start with?
I mean, I guess it's good to just start at the top with Sean Payton. He had his his kind of not his opening interview, because his opening interview was a few weeks ago, but he had his interview last week, and he sounded a little more, I guess you could say, kind of more ready to go than his first interview. And his first interview, he just sounded kind of pissed about, the whole training camp setup, and just, you could tell he was just trying to figure out how he was going to work through it. But now you can see, since they got the sort of quote-unquote bubble sequester, you want to call it, he kind of sees where his players at, where his players are at health-wise. Nobody had COVID-19. You had like 2 players opt out, kind of bottom of the roster players. They took care of they got down to the 80, and they kind of bottom of the roster players. I think Stallworth was like the only kind of name that stood out. So you could tell Sean Payton was kind of in the mode of, okay, we ready to roll. So I guess you can start with that. And just, what I've been tweeting just really this whole summer is Sean Payton's ability to manage a crisis. You're talking about a guy who, which I think, even though it's talked about, is kind of forgotten, and it's kind of, I don't think they understood what he took on when he took over the Saints in 2006. Like New Orleans look worse than Beirut, Lebanon right now. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a disaster zone. We didn't know Orleans was going to come back at that time. We really didn't know. It was a literal question, literal congressman saying like, we're not sure New Orleans should come back. We're not sure there should be a city where that city once was. So him taking over the team at that time and having to literally rebuild a crap franchise. And I love the Saints, but if you just look at the history, it just was not a great franchise. And try to build a winner out of it. I mean, that's just getting coaches to not football, just put the football players aside. You know, getting coaches, the assistant coaches, and people to work within the team and scouts, and he had to build it from the bottom up and really retool everything to try to figure out what's been wrong. Why has this team never won a playoff? Only won one playoff game in the history of the franchise. Only one. And we never went further than that. And he had to do that, and he managed it. And it was it wasn't an easy process. There was failures along the way, but his ability to do that always stood out to me more than his offensive capability. He's an offensive genius. We know that, but his ability to kind of motivate, think outside the box, kind of zig when everybody's zagging, and just kind of say, hey, this is my team. I'm going to do my own thing and do what's best for the team. I always think that's been his kind of greatest attribute as a head coach. So I think we saw that, like we saw with Bountygate, his guy was, suspended for a whole season, not able to even talk to, like, people in the league, like completely cut off, comes back, completely reboots the team, coming off that season, take us to 11-5, 11-5 season, new defensive coordinator and all that stuff. Just he knows how to come in and really set the tone and just be the leader that he's like a CEO. He's like the CEO you expect a CEO to be if you're a failing company and the CEO to come in and kind of lead the charge and change the path of a failing company. And so I think that's his greatest attribute. And I think I've been tweeting that his ability to do that is going to be key for the Saints this season, whatever this season is going to be. So if the Saints do succeed, his leadership is going to be like a huge reason for it. His ability to navigate this. So when they came out with the whole sequester thing, I just chuckled because that's a Sean Payton thing to do. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just something. Okay, the league's not going to do a bubble. I'm going to do my own damn bubble. You know what I'm saying? Like that's Sean Payton. So yeah. Will it work? Will it work? Maybe, maybe not. But it's better than doing nothing. It's better than just saying, "Oh well, we'll just hope everything works out okay." Well, no. We, what I'm saying? Like we're going to at least all these different variables that we have to deal with. We're going to at least try to move some of these variables in towards our favor. And so I think, just hearing that from him, just hearing how confident he was. Well, I wouldn't say confident, but he sounded like a guy that that's kind of know what he's doing, and he realizes that he's in a this is uncharted territory. So I think his ability to be dynamic with his thinking and just kind of maneuver and try to figure out ways. I think that's going to be the key for this team over talent. We can say all we want about the roster, but the teams who manage this the best will do the best this season. I don't care how good your talent is. If say the Browns manage this thing better than the New England Patriots and are able to keep their guys healthy, and the Patriots aren't, the Browns are going to be better. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I just see the season playing out.
It's a great point. A lot of great points that you made, and how Sean Payton rebuilt the Saints. Because if you look at it, just think to this past offseason, we had David Onyemata. Basically, we thought he was leaving. Like we thought he was just not going to be a Saint anymore. Like he was going to be out the price range and not come back. They're able to retain him. largely because, he said that he wanted to stay with New Orleans. Like, obviously he got paid, and he may have been able to get paid more on the open market, but part of the reason why he wanted to come back is he wanted to, finish what he's built with the team that drafted him. You had Emmanuel Sanders in his interview basically say, like, it wasn't even like a huge courting process that the Saints had to do towards him, that he was the one kind of courting the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he was the one that wanted to come to New Orleans. And then if you take what Tony Pauline's saying about the two teams that's on free agent Jadeveon Clowney's list of teams he wants to go to, it's the Saints and the Cowboys. Like, like that is powerful. Like,
that's insane.
You know what I'm saying? Like players want to come to New Orleans, play for the Saints, play for Sean Payton, the culture that he's built. That's unreal, man. Like it's like, we don't. If you're a Saints fan since like 2006, like the younger Saints fans, shout out to Chris. Like, you don't know, like, you don't know how. Yeah, we love Chris, living that white wealth life, but you don't know like how good it is, because it wasn't always like this. Right. like the Saints were like the equivalent of the Browns, and
yeah, exactly. So people got to understand, like, for most of my lifetime growing up with the Saints, like, the Saints had to beg and plead and overpay for any free agent. That's why the Saints were bad for so long, because we couldn't even get free agents to come. People, when I was growing up, people would blame Benson. They're like, "Oh, Benson cheap." And Benson wasn't cheap. Nobody just wanted to play for the Saints. Like, nobody wanted to come to New Orleans. Nobody wanted to live in New Orleans, and nobody wanted to play for him. And if we did, and sometimes when the Saints did look up and draft a player in development and him become a good player, somebody like Joe Johnson, he couldn't wait to get out of town. Like, soon as he, was able to hit free agency, he was like, "Peace." You know what I'm saying? I'm out of here.
Bye.
Yeah. But now, you got players, hey, I'll take a pay cut to hang around with the Saints. This is a team I circle and want to go to, contender, and, Sean Payton and, Drew Brees and blah, blah, blah. So I always try to tell Saints fans that's so down, especially the youngsters that's, didn't get to go through the dark years, like, man, enjoy this, man. This is like, as much as heartbreak it brings you, that's just sports. You're going to get your heart broken with sports. Kind of take a step back in the worldview and just realize you got it good, man. You really do.
And I, obviously you've been a Saints fan longer than I have. Like, my fanhood started during the Aaron Brooks days, which was a roller coaster.
Yeah.
In itself.
And that was the good days. Up until
right?
That was the good days.
Wow, bro. Just wow. So I alluded to it a little bit before, but just the Emmanuel Sanders talking about he wanted to come to New Orleans. Him and Drew, worked out in Denver. And there's talking like that is we talked about this on a prior podcast, like that deep ball not being there so much, but there's, I don't know, like, is there some hints? Like,
you saw little IG clips, and I'm looking at the ball, I'm like, is that 60 yards? He hitting the ball 60 yards. And I mean, the ball is really not about the depth of the throw. It's the velocity that you have to look at. And that ball was coming out. Like, no, I mean, not no Mahomes type throw, of course not. But, like, you just want to see that ball come out. I can't really describe it, but you know it when you see it.
But it wasn't the Drew Brees throw to Ted Ginn against the Eagles where that thing just died.
You have that, that kind of squint face emoji, like, is it going to make it? You know what I'm saying? You don't want those, you know what I'm saying? And that's what he had last year. And then, Nick Underhill wrote about it a lot, like, is it the finger? It definitely could have been the thumb, that affected his deep ball. His deep ball attempts were lower last year than any time he's been, a quarterback. But even the last 3 years, his deep ball attempts haven't been that high, So, I mean, we'll see. And, Drew Brees talked about working with Tom House this offseason. They literally, like, next door to each other in San Diego. So, we saw clips of Drew Brees doing like this weird workout with like a tennis ball in a sock, and he was doing his little moves. And he basically, in his interview, he said something about, they kind of found some tweaks to his throwing motions. And, if you read Nick Underhill, he on his podcast, he talked about how the Tom House and their business, their organization, how they really truly break down a quarterback. Like they have like cameras that break it down to like the millisecond and watch your throwing motion like every single frame and tweak it to the point where you could just find whatever cheat code you can out your body. And we know Drew Brees, like he if he finds that cheat code, he's just gonna work at it like until like a maniac. You know what I'm saying? So
he's a maniac.
What does that mean? Like who knows? Like maybe instead of one 35 yard completion last year, maybe we get 4 this year. It's not like he's going to be slinging it downfield like Mahomes all season. That's never been him. But you want to at least have that threat.
Yeah,
when the defenses start cheating up and the safeties start cheating up, you could kill them.
Yeah, that's all. I think I'm glad you brought that up because it's all about keeping the defense honest. Like,
right.
And I think, we don't think like defenses haven't been respecting Brees's deep balls for a number of years now.
No respect.
So if it's there, just the hint of it being there, like if they're playing close to the line of scrimmage or they're playing their depth a certain way, like if it's there, that's a way to exploit a defense big time, and it doesn't have, like you said, it doesn't have to be all game, every game, but just that threat of it being there would be huge.
Yeah. Just like, defensive players, they study tape. So if they're studying tape and they say, damn, when, Harrison Smith, cheated up a little bit, he got burned last week. I better make sure and watch my cues. And that's literally all it takes. It's like, okay, player X got burned last week. I need to make sure I'm on my stuff this week. But if you're looking at the tape and it's like, damn, it's looking like Drew Brees, he's not even testing the safety there. They're going to start cheating up a little bit. So, if he can make those throws this season, I think that's going to help the offense immensely. Not just with him, with Alvin Kamara and everybody. You know what I'm saying? The tight end Jared Cook, because he's kind of low key one of the deep ball players on the team because he's able to get loose down the seams.
Oh, 100%. That the throw that Drew threw to him against the Titans, bruh,
hey,
sweating.
But I was like, those last like 4 games, like before the playoffs, Jared Cook was like cooking.
no pun intended.
Hey,
And I remember how a lot of us were like that Rams game before Drew hurt his thumb, like, bruh. Like, I'm not even super invested like I used to be, but I was like, this nigga is killing me right now. Like,
didn't he fumble? Like he had fumbled the ball or something?
Drew had hit him like right in the hands with the ball, and he like he didn't fumble it, but like he bumbled it away, and the Rams intercepted it. And I know he's a rookie. And I know he's making that big jump from Division II, whatever division Adam Troutman came from. But there's a lot of potential there with 12 personnel where defenses you can manipulate defenses greatly if you add, like, not only do you have Cook, you add Adam Troutman. He shows it, at least in college, that he can be a good blocker. That's a lot to throw at a defense and confuse them in terms of what the offense is doing.
It is, man. And I was thinking about it earlier. Like, we don't know. We just don't know what product we're going to see on week 1 because of all of this. No preseason, so we just don't know. It could be like a slop fest. But if, like, the Saints, since they're such a veteran team and they're able to, like, just do their thing, man, like I'm saying, I'm not about to predict a win on week one because they haven't won on week one in a long time. You know what I'm saying? But like potentially they can come out cooking. If those things those chips fall where it's supposed to. But obviously this is unprecedented. We don't know. We don't even know what teams are going to look like on week one, if there's going to be a week one.
There could be 20 players on each team on the COVID list.
Right. But you know what? I'm kind of sure, like I'm confident week one's going to happen and hardly anybody's going to be positive. I think teams are going to be a good job of keeping players safe through camp and up to week one. After that, who knows, man? It's like anything can happen after that. But I just feel confident about week one. Like that's it.
Who else did they spoke? Oh, speaking when we've kind of been focused on the offense, kind of switching over to the defensive side of the ball. So they spoke with Cam, they spoke with Marcus Davenport, they spoke with Alex Anzalone. And we've talked about this before, and I read it and I had to text you when I saw it, but like I don't know why it annoyed me when Marcus Davenport said like his goal was to like have one more sack than Cam, and I'm just like, can you just stay healthy a season for I get it. It's like athletes,
right.
But like it just
athlete talk, but still, it's like, man,
two first ass down somewhere.
Like you're gonna be two first till you change your. Like I need you to stop letting me call you two first. You know what I'm saying?
But the good news is Marcus Davenport isn't on the PUP list. Neither is Alex Anzalone. Only player that is on PUP, I believe, is Kiko Alonso.
Yeah.
We've kind of joked about in the past. Just the fact that they're not on PUP, so they're able to start training camp, quote unquote, healthy, is huge. It's huge. But it all boils, and I mean, we're preaching to the choir when we say this, but it's about they gotta do it in the season. Like if there is a quote unquote full football season, all that's nice and fine for right now. But if they start getting hurt in the season, then it's back to square one.
Yeah, exactly. And Davenport, like this season, I don't know how to make it more clear. This season is so crucial to him. Like the Saints have to make a decision next offseason if they will sign a fifth-year option. Like they have to make the decision. So this is like almost like a contract year for him in some ways, And he has the talent, he has the potential. Everybody admits that. Like nobody that watches him will say he's garbage. He's not. You know what I'm saying?
Not at all.
He has the athletic talent. So it's time for him to just put it together, man. And like we'll see. Hey, I kept saying like he has not yet had an off season with the Saints. He hasn't had any OTAs or mini camps because he's either injured or had COVID-19 this year and he was injured. So he's gonna have to try to make the most of it. But he has he has experience now. He had 13 games last year. He played 8 or 9 the year before that. So he has experience playing NFL games, so it's time for him to put it together, man. You got to put up. And Anzalone, my dog Anzalone, bro.
Come on, man.
Come on, bro.
What he brings athletic-wise to the linebacker, like there are plays that he's made as a Saint that I love. I love DeMario Davis. I love him.
Yeah.
But there's plays that Anzalone makes. The interception against the Rams in the regular season before they faced them in the NFC Championship. That's that's the only play he can make. He made a play in the preseason. I can't remember what team it was against, but he had like an interception where he started from like the middle of the field, ran all the way to the left. Well, from here would be the right side of the field, intercepted it, toe tapped it. Like
I remember that. Yeah.
He is so good.
Well, he has safety like athleticism. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But like he can't stay on the field.
It's the shoulder. It's like nothing else. It's not his knee, ankle, nothing. It's just the shoulder which has bothered him throughout college. Like I remember scouting him in college. Like when we drafted him, I'm like, well, let me look at some Anzalone. And when you go on YouTube, all you usually got to do is like type the name of the player.
Right.
and it'll come up with like a list of games. It's nothing.
It was just the cut-ups, like the highlights.
It was nothing. It wasn't even highlight. Well, yeah, I did find one highlight.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, what could I find like the games? Nothing.
No, you won't find the whole game. No.
I just had to look up like who did he play for Florida, right?
Florida, yeah.
But I just had to look up like Florida games and then hope he was in that game.
So you had to look at another player's tape.
Yeah, I had to look at other players' tape and then just kind of hope he was in there. And 9 times out of 10, he wasn't even in the game. Like he was hurt. You know what I'm saying? So I had to go like the Pro Football Reference and try to find what games he actually played in. I mean, it was a headache, man. Like so, I imagine what the scouts had to do. So,
right,
but that's just him. You drafted an injured player. He's gonna be an injured player in the NFL. You just gotta hope it's kind of like a Thomas Davis situation where he finds that, I don't know, that T1000, juice or whatever. And
come on, man. Thomas Davis didn't have any cartilage in it. Thomas Davis is still playing football, Ryan. He's playing for the Redskins, Washington
football team. He's still in the league?
He's still in the leagues, man.
That's crazy. That don't make no damn sense.
Tore his ACL 3 times? Yeah, 3 times. Insane.
Like
Absolutely.
Arm is just like non-existent. Like oh my God. Like
it's just just like you said for Marcus Davenport, like it's a big year for Anzalone too. Mm-hmm. Like obviously he doesn't, he's not a first rounder, but this is
contract year.
Yeah, it's his 4th year. It's his 4th season. And if he doesn't work out, I know that he was a super late draft pick last season, but before he got hurt, it really sounded like Caden Ellis was close to pushing AJ Klein out of the starting lineup. And then he got injured and he got injured reserve. He's healthy now. He was on the COVID list. Now he's not on the COVID list. Like they like what they see in Caden Ellis. Like
absolutely.
We can't evaluate that because we really haven't seen it, but he was gaining that trust of the coaches to be out there. So this is a crucial year for Anzalone, and I think the Saints were very smart in signing Nigel Bradham. Just, because you can't bank on Anzalone being healthy. You have Kiko Alonso on PUP. Like we talked about how they're, the linebacker position is, we've had games last season, Craig Robinson was in that 49ers game.
Yeah.
Like he made a play, he made a big play in the game, but
that's what he do.
But then the other plays, you like, Craig's out there. Like,
that's what he do too.
So,
but Craig got a lifetime contract, baby. I don't know what kind of contract he signed. Like I never see him like as a free agent or nothing. Like I was like, what contract did you sign, nigga? Like, oh well.
Craig been feel like,
but when you look at our linebackers, though, like that's probably the huge question mark of the defense. Is like, what linebackers will you field on week 1? We don't know.
Oh, that's
like,
a huge.
We know Demario Davis. That's it.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. If they go nickel and there's 2 linebackers on the field, who's outside? Who's out there? Next to Demario, or even if they go, just a standard 4-3. 4-3 lineup.
Base, yeah.
Yeah, like base. Like, is it Demario and Anzalone and like we no clue, no idea.
And I mean, to be honest though, to get a 30-year-old Nigel Bradham in August, that's it's low key. That's a decent little move.
It absolutely is.
Solid coverage linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Could tackle. I mean, that's not a bad move, man. Just to get him in August, like. I could see him definitely playing. He's definitely not like a guy that's going to get cut in 2 weeks or nothing like that.
No, not at all. So who else? I'm trying to think of who else they spoke to.
AK, we wound up finding out it was an MCL tear that he got. MCL tear in his knee against Jacksonville. And he also got hurt like a little bit before that, but then the MCL tear, played through throughout the season. He talked about it some in his interview. Talked about how his like body language wasn't really on point. So he kind of heard that from the fans, but he said he also heard that from his fellow players, kind of like, and come on, get in the game, and we all saw it, where everybody was trying to analyze him and everything, which was understandable. But I mean, the dude was playing through pain, at the end of the day, and I think we can kind of close the book on season with AK. It's like the dude was just playing hurt at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like he did the best he can. It wasn't his greatest season. It wasn't a bad season, but it is what it is. But it sets up like a huge year for him. Who he's going to be a free agent next season. He's looking to get paid. He talked about in an interview that he's not worried about getting paid. But come on, we know.
Come on, man.
Like we know.
Come on.
We know he's waiting on that check. You know what I'm saying? And he deserves it. He deserves the check. So it's just gonna be so fascinating. Just watching how all that plays out, man. Like I have no prediction whatsoever with AK. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we talked. I think we talked about it to death. So we were not going to get too much into it. But yeah, it's going to be fascinating and putting like the closing of like his season last season, because it was just so annoying hearing like Twitter sports psychologists like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's good for him to like admit like he was like, you know what, I needed to check myself when my teammates brought it up.
Yeah.
But if like, I don't know how to word this, but like if you could just get a feel from his personality, even as a rookie or even in Tennessee, I won't say he's a temperamental player, but like he's a player that like he wears his emotions on his sleeves.
Yeah.
So if he's struggling, which he obviously was struggling last year, like you could tell that you could tell that he was struggling and it was affecting him.
Right.
But I've said it on this podcast. If he's healthy, you throw him in this offense.
Whew.
I as a defensive coordinator, I don't know what you do. I really don't.
And he talked about on the interview like all they worked with all off season with his trainer was his lower extremities, as if they weren't already like ridiculous. But
Right.
like his legs, you've seen videos, his legs look like tree trunks. He's moving crazy. They worked on flexibility, his knee strength, his leg strength. He said he worked on building everything up around his knee, so he won't re-injure it again. Which is you never know, but it's a good move. You know what I'm saying? So him, if he's healthy, man, like you just think about it, like those little routes that he would run out the backfield. Instead of last year, they were going for like what 7 yards, maybe 8.
Mm-hmm.
Now they turn into 9, 10. That's first down. You know what I'm saying? Like that just changes everything. You know what I'm saying? It just adding 2, 3, or 4 extra yards to those little out routes that he would run, or those little in routes he'd catch over the middle. Like man, and he instead of getting tackled like he was last year, maybe he's breaking 2 tackles. Now it's 13 yards. I mean, it just changes the whole map of how a game plays out.
Like you could just if you're a fan, if you just look at what he did against the Texans in Week 1 and what he did against Seattle, which was Week 3, like that's all you need to see. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Like when he's healthy, he is a difference maker. You throw that in with everything that the Saints have, and offensive line wise, and it's just good luck defensively. Like good luck. And it's not like in the past where, all right, we're gonna try to take Mike Thomas away. Okay, take Mike Thomas away. So then you're gonna leave Emmanuel Sanders who can cook you. Like I don't know, man. Like if there's a season that needs to happen, it's this one. But
it's this one, man. Damn.
I just
got it.
So speaking of offensive line, we don't know how it's going to shake out.
Nope.
But the whole, do you keep McCoy at center and put Ruiz at guard, or do you flip him? Like I still think that's fascinating. I'm not super worried about it, but just the way that I would see it is, I think it's tricky. Like we know Drew. Drew loves his routine. Drew just got used to having McCoy being his center, right?
Yeah. And it was a work in progress.
It was. So during a crazy offseason, during a pandemic, I find it difficult to believe that they're going to be like, all right, we're going to completely change this up, have a Reese be center, have McCoy go to guard, and Drew's going to have to learn a new center. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know we don't know how it's going to end up. We don't know how it's going to shake out, but it's for sure something to watch during training camp.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing probably that first week, especially when they get on pads, you're going to see them kind of flip sides a lot, and they're going to work off of that. Like if Caesar is showing something at center, and McCoy is looking like okay, he's able to hold himself down at guard, you're going to be like, okay, this is how we're going to roll. Or if vice versa is if Caesar's kind of struggling to pick up the offense, which is understandable. I mean, to pick up the all they go center for the Saints offense, if he can't pick it up immediately, it'll just make sense to kick him at guard. But he played very little guard in college, so I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting. I mean, that's gonna be something to watch. We might not get an answer until week 1. You know what I'm saying? Like, or even then, you might not see. I don't know. Could you see a situation where Caesar doesn't even get on the field?
Nope. I don't
He's
believe
gonna
that. I don't believe that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Don't believe that a second. I don't believe that.
Yeah, I agree. So that's the one to watch. Like, it's just gonna be one to watch. You just go, but there's no preseason game, so you're just going to read like Nick Underhill and and Mike Triplett and and see what see who's playing where, because we just won't know.
Yeah, that's gonna be fascinating.
Fascinating.
Do we talk about the Drew shoes? The
Black History Month night. I don't care what nobody say about Drew Brees, man. That's my dude, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody gets one deviation, man. Like, everyone gets one deviation in life. So he's my deviation, man. Like, I don't care, man. He could be all lives matter or whatever. That's my dude, man. Like, Drew, dude trying, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, Drew is he comes from a upper middle class family in Texas, with a World War II grandfather and all this stuff, man. He doesn't know about all this stuff, man. Like, he just and he's coming up around a black players and all that, so he's just trying to figure his way through, man. The dude means no harm. He means no harm, man. People give him a break, man. Like, anything he tweets, he could just tweet anything, and
bruh,
look under the replies. It's like, why did you
at his neck?
At his neck, man.
And Drew be hearing it from both. You hear from both sides.
They call him a sell. Like, both people call him sellout. Like, you just sell out. I'm like, man, just let Drew, chill out.
I was working when it posted, so I missed like all the jokes, but
and it looked like he told him, like, make sure you get the
don't forget the shoes. Don't forget the I mean, I'm trying to think. We haven't talked about this much on the pod. We have a little bit. So a big thing that we're kind of like not talking about is that besides like 2 bottom of the roster type players, like no big Saints player opted out.
And you know what? I kind of attribute that to Sean Payton just pulling a G move early in the season after he got COVID-19, and everybody was trying to figure out, what's the will he be a mini camp? Will he be OTAs? Blah blah blah. He was like, y'all just stay home, do what you got to do, take care of your families. We'll see you in August. Like he just exited out before the league, before everybody. He just said, "Worry about your family. Take care of your people. Take care of yourself. See you in August. See you in shape." I think that is a big attribute of that whole thing because it puts the players coming in a mind state like Sean Payton. You know what I'm saying? He's been through this. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Right.
he's had COVID-19, so he's talking from experience. So you have faith like to work with him. You know what I'm saying? You have faith in him as a leader. Where as some coaches you just not just don't have that faith. Imagine Adam Gates. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna play for
Ooh,
Adam Gates. Like,
man,
you know what?
if you don't give me my 150K,
My man CJ Mosley, like, shit, man, I got most of my guaranteed money last year. I'm about to just kick it this year. He gonna be gone next year anyway.
anyway.
Right. So I just think, Sean Payton, I think that was a G move he did, man. Like, just F what the NFL doing. See y'all in August. Get y'all self together and come prepared. You know what I'm saying? So it just put them in a different mind state. I think I think that's why you see so many few Saints players with COVID-19. You see so many few players opting out because they were able to take care of their business. They were able to take care of their family and figure out, what best position to put them in, and whether it's staying away from the facility or keeping them close or whatever. They were able to have that bandwidth to make those decisions without having to worry about, practicing and, OTAs and all that stuff. So I think at the end of the day, when we look back at it, I think that was like an outstanding move by Sean.
Absolutely, it was outstanding, and like you said, it gave the players like enough headspace to decide what's best for them.
Right.
And we say like there was this quote unquote deadline of that pass that players had to opt out, and I was talking to Greg, and he was like, yeah, but like that wasn't really like a deadline per se, because if players want to opt out, they still have the ability to do that later. So if they have a family member that gets COVID, they have the ability to opt out. Or if the players have an underlying condition, they still have the ability to opt out later on. And that's obviously that's not for the Saints. That's for anyone who's playing in the NFL.
Right.
But because it wouldn't have shocked me, if, and I think you were talking to someone on Twitter about it, like if someone like Malcolm Jenkins had opted out, like that wouldn't have shocked me like at all.
At all. Yeah. Yeah, because he said it. He said himself he's not sure if he's comfortable, playing with it. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not comfortable with it. And but I think if you have some type of condition that can impact you with COVID-19 or someone in your family, you could still opt out at any time. But if you like one of the guys that's just like, I just don't want to deal with it, that deadline was for you.
Yeah,
you know
like too bad. No take backs.
Too bad. Yeah. So it's interesting.
So my point in that is we're talking about players that this upcoming season is an important season to them. Man, I think it's a huge year for Marcus Williams. The potential that he flashed so much in his as a rookie season, Minnesota Miracle aside, was like the next showings of being a great true free safety that the Saints have not had in the longest time. And it's not like he's, I don't want to say regressed, but like, I guess plateaued may be the right word of how his play has been. So if he's looking to make top like free safety money, because safeties, as we know, safeties don't typically get paid a lot. Like they're unless they're elite, they're not getting a lot of money. But if he's looking to cash in, like I feel like this is a big year for him.
Absolutely, man. Like like he's the type of safety that would get paid, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like
Yes.
those deep safeties that has that range and could take the ball. You know, he's the type that does get paid, but some of his goofs have been, like
Big,
widely
big,
seen, like
big goofs.
big goofs at big moments. You know what I'm saying? So, like, this is a huge year for him. He has to turn out a year where he has, like 4 or 5 interceptions, and interceptions at like some key times too. Like he needs to make some big plays in prime time that'll really get him going. But man, like just when you look at the UFAs next season, we don't need to hop on it now because their time will come. But I mean, you got Demario Davis, he's a free agent next year. Jared Cook, free agent. Rankins, Alonzo, C. Rob, PJ Williams,
Oh, bye.
Marcus Williams.
I was shout out. Let me give some credit to P. P. Rob. I don't know. Just clap for him. Just good for you, Patrick Robinson.
I mean, you can keep it going, man. PJ Williams, Marcus Williams, who else? Kamara, obviously. Drew Brees, he won't be free agent next year, but then we got to figure quarterback position. You know what I'm saying? So, like man, there will be some, then you have to talk about the whole salary cap going down. It's like,
yeah, there's gonna be some changes. And then we talked about it. They gotta pay Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah,
they gotta pay Ram. It will be very interesting to see what they do with Armstead.
Yeah.
We know the talent, but we also know his availability.
Yeah.
And that I think that's an interesting little plot line, to watch.
Yeah, and he's been holding it down like the last year or two, where he still played like injured, but he's been kind of able to stay in the lineup. So maybe he kind of reached that point where he's just that guy. He also strikes me as a guy that will kind of retire early. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, like I've been beat up enough. I'm just gonna call it quits. So I mean, that's something we have to wait and see. But we'll see. I mean, but next year, like this is. I don't know how to keep reiterating. This is the year.
This is the year. I'm not a gambler or whatever, but like if this is Vegas, all the chips are in during the pandemic.
All of them.
Out of all the years, bro. Out of all. Yeah. This is the year. It really is.
Crazy.
And even if you listen to us, like people who listen to us know that we're not as emotionally involved as we used to be, but just thinking of like week 1 and seeing the offense out there in full form, like Voltron, man, that's exciting. Like
it is, man.
Like just to be like Mike Sanders, a healthy AK, offensive line.
It's actually going to be overwhelming because you won't have the preseason
to get you like yes.
So like literally like over a month from now we're gonna be sitting there and you turn on on Sunday and you put it's gonna be an NFL game,
and it's for real, like it counts.
It's for real. It counts.
Like there's no like okay I can turn this off at halftime. Like no. Crazy.
It's gonna be crazy, bro. I was just watching. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I put on Hard Knocks. I caught like the end. Man, it's fascinating as hell. Like I was just like, oh, Hard Knocks, Rams and Chargers again, man. But just with the whole COVID-19 thing, it dove into just all of it. You know what I'm saying? Like that first week, and it showed like they recorded like the Zoom meetings they were having, like talking about the Black Lives Matter and the kneeling. They're talking about like just everything. They were showing all the technical hiccups they have, like at a point with like Aaron Cromer. He was talking to the offensive line and then his voice got all screwed up. Just all the crap that comes with using Zoom and all that stuff. And it showed Coach Lynn, having to cut the 80, and dudes coming in there hot like, damn, like I just got here, you cutting, you know what I'm saying? So it was interesting, man. Like this season is just nuts, man. Like
Nuts, bro.
I just you just got to step back sometimes. Like, man, this is crazy.
And this is also the season that the Saints on paper have the best team.
The best roster. The best roster. But we won't know, man. Like, like Drew Brees always says, in August you have a roster, but come September you have a team, so you got to put the best team together. Come September, you're gonna have injuries throughout camp. You're gonna have, hiccups. We're gonna have COVID-19 stuff. So, we're gonna see what the team's gonna look out. But, padded practices are gonna take place in about a week, I think. I think some teams have been showing like vines and videos of the players practicing. The Saints hadn't put out anything, but I'm guessing we'll start seeing that eventually, and seeing what's going on the field, because they have been doing like walkthroughs and throwing the ball around and stuff like that, but no kind of football action. So we'll see.
It's gonna be fascinating, man. And like you said, we'll see as things more football related starts to ramp up. We'll have more frequency with episodes talking actual football. So this is kind of a small apology to our listeners in the following that we've been able to garner in such a short period of time. But it's just weird that with that time period of there not being a lot of football going on, and also a pandemic, like Ryan and I explained before, like there were just times like we didn't want to talk about, what I'm saying? Like it was the last thing on our minds to put out a podcast episode, because we didn't want to talk football, because there's so many more important things going on in the world and our lives right now that has nothing to do with football. But as it inches closer, I feel like it's just gonna be like a scary movie, like a jump cut, like a jump scare, like whoa, just
Back in.
Like we got to start preparing for the fantasy football league. Like I got to start organizing that.
Get on that, bro. That ain't my field.
Yeah. I feel like old times. Got to set all this up again. But I'll start. We'll start posting all that out. Because probably to do it from our Twitter account for the pod, or for Ryan's account, because people can retweet it and stuff, because my account's on private. Trying to think if there's anything else. We talked about the Saints, but like the huge news the 2 days, or I think it was just today, of the Big Ten and the Pac-12 postponing football till spring, which would make no sense. Like that doesn't make any sense to me, because then if it's postponed to spring, then you're having college athletes basically play 2 seasons back to back without like a break, which whatever. But it's huge, because it doesn't affect the NFL in any way, because the NFL is going to do what they do. Like they want their money, they're going to move forward with their season, so that has no effect on them. But just how monumentally huge that those conferences postpone their season, and like the debates that's having of like the players want to play, and like it's wild to me. It's wild.
It's wild, man. Like, you understand, like, I'm a hardcore NFL fan. I follow a little college football, but there are hardcore college football fans out there. A lot of them, I work with a lot of them. Like, I work with so many people who don't give a damn about the NFL, but they
Mm-hmm.
follow college football, religiously. So I mean, man, so no college football, which we expected. It's I mean, as far as the SEC, we'll see. I envision the SEC is going to have something going. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how it is. But it's going to be strange. And, as it pertains to the NFL, that's the talent pool. So we'll see. I don't expect games in the spring. I mean, I don't know what I've read, but is COVID-19 supposed to disappear in January or February? I don't see it. Like
Right? Like
all this talk about a vaccine. Vaccines don't work like that. It's not like you just drop the vaccine and okay, it's gone. No.
like a mixtape.
Yeah, like a mixtape. No, it doesn't work like that. So if they plan on thinking it'll be a different environment in January or February, they're wrong. It's going to still be here. So as far as I'm concerned, they just won't be in the college football for the 2020 and 21. Yeah, that's just how I look at it. And that's why the NFL took the approach it did was they're going full speed ahead and they're going to have football.
Also,
Whether you love it or not.
Yeah. Also, the NFL was real smart, I guess, in the sense of like getting rid of the supplemental draft.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
Because if you could you imagine if there was let's obviously if the timing that they do the supplemental draft would have been before the seasons were postponed or canceled, whatever word you want to use, but just like the influx of talent, that could have been crazy.
That would have been nuts.
Crazy. Because if you're Justin Fields, if you're Trevor Lawrence, Trevor Lawrence is in the ACC, sorry. But if you're Justin Fields, starting quarterback of Ohio State, probably top 10 pick, what have you, what do you do now?
Yeah, that's a big question. And, with Rock and his little investment group by NFL, I wonder, do they – if I was him or if I was a part of that group, I'd be thinking, let me put together some kind of bubble situation to get, you don't need many teams. Mm-mm. And you don't need a big league, but just do teams, get a bubble situation, and have them play some games for money. I mean, you're talking about, green money where you could pay these players coming out of college, talented players, to come and show their skills, and get coached by, former NFL coaches and stuff like that. That's something I would be looking into.
Yeah,
the XFL.
I saw that Florio suggested that, and I want to say Jeff Darling. It's a great idea. And I think it would do numbers too, right? Because
hell yeah,
not like you said, there's coworkers that you may have that are super into college football, or whatever. There's this void of not sports, but whatever. Something like that would do numbers.
That's an opportunity, man. I'm a capitalist, and if you're a capitalist, you're looking for opportunities to capitalize on.
Of course.
And that's a huge one, man. You have this gap where, there's this opening for, up and coming players that are talented. And, with the XFL, usually you're getting cast offs from the NFL, but this time you'll be able to get players that will be in the NFL.
Upper echelon, man. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity.
We'll see. I mean, we just talking shit now, but who knows, bro? We're in a different era, man. Voting, you got to vote. What is it, November 4th? I mean,
bruh, is that when it is? Man, I'm gonna be at the polls. It's just crazy that's.
Listen, y'all go register to vote,
please.
I fill out my papers. I'm here in Alabama. I'm the most cynical guy about the political process you can find, man. But we are in I'm 38 years old, man, and I know people like to say every 4 years they say, "Oh, this is the most important election of our lifetime." No, it's not. This year,
This one.
like man, like
This,
we are in a junction point in the United States.
man, listen.
I'm not about to tell you who to vote for, but just look where we at as a country. You got cities burning, you got a pandemic, economy in ruins, you know,
Shambles.
in shambles, man. I mean,
Let,
something got to change.
I'll give a California perspective from it. So, most people know what I do if you listen to the podcast or whatever. So I'm a social worker working for the county. So because of the economy and the budget, what have you, it's gotten to the point that now potentially the county of Los Angeles, which I'm not going to get into like all the details of it, but obviously there's a Netflix special about DCFS that you can find regarding Gabriel Fernandez, that the county may have to decide like, hey, we may have to start laying off social workers because the budget just isn't what it's supposed to do or what it's supposed to be because of a pandemic, which means if social workers gets laid off, in turn, that means that social workers that keep their job, or if their caseload is 20 kids on their caseload right now, they may get an additional 8, 12 kids.
Impossible.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just from my perspective of where things are right now. Like, we could talk this all night, but just please, if you listen to this podcast, register the vote and just let your voice be heard in November. Like, that's all. That's it.
That's it, man.
That's it. But I think we hit on everything, so we're not gonna we're gonna get out of here. I should be sending out the details. Crap, that's crazy. Football's less than a month. I'll send out the details regarding the league, the fantasy football league, to our listeners. So I know we don't have a lot of Patreon, contributors.
We hurt.
But
a lot. We hurting.
But
shout out to the 5 Patreons we got. We love y'all. Thank y'all.
Miguel.
My dude.
Miguel, he lives out here too. He was the first, so shout out to Miguel for sure. So if you're a Patreon contributor, you get you are in. If you want to be in the league, you are in it 100% without
Period.
Done. You're in the league. Done. If you're not, then we're gonna figure out a way to, we'll figure that out. But
all you got to do is go to patreon.com, search hashtag Saints Twitter space podcast, or just search Saints hashtag Saints Twitter. It'll come up. You know what I'm saying? And just donate whatever you want to donate. You're in. You know what I'm saying? But we're trying to make this a big production. I sent Adam a list of guests that I want for the next couple of months, a huge list, and we gonna bring some heat. Like, if the season goes as we hope it goes, like, man, this podcast is gonna be flames. We're trying to increase the production value of the sound, and maybe one day we'll get an intro. I personally like Adam's podcast, no music, no intro thing. But maybe we get an outro or something. You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of become our trademark at this point.
Right. So we want to make this a good thing for you guys. So, I mean, look, I'm not a big beggar or something like that, but man, anything that help, we do have bills to pay. We have to pay for, the podcast hosting, website hosting, and stuff like that. So any help you can provide, and that'll give us incentive to keep doing this, we really appreciate it. So that's all I want to say.
Absolutely. So go to the Patreon website, help us out if you can. And then the details of how to join the hashtag Saints Twitter Fantasy Football League will be posted on Twitter I would probably say by next week. Just keep in mind, I don't do fantasy football leagues for money. This is just for fun, just for fun and bragging rights. Other than that, that's it. Like, that whole concept is wild to me. So with that, we're gonna get out. We're gonna get out of here. We'll have another episode next week, and with that, we're out.
Peace.